This was an article by Rabbi Ariel Bar Tzadok. It's called The Role of Kabbalah in the Founding of the United States of America. The role of Kabbalah. Kabbalah is a Jewish system of occult witchcraft and magic. And this rabbi says that, in fact, the very founding of America was based on the Kabbalistic witchcraft religion of the Jews. Of course, he doesn't call it witchcraft because he believes it's holy.
I was living the American dream. I thought, in control. I was on top of the world. I had everything. For the first time in my life, I had money. I had a family. I had everything right.
I had millions of dollars, big, huge houses, buildings, and you name it, I had it.
I have this great corporate American job. I mean, this is what everybody dreams about.
But then the question arose to me, is this it?
How about the path to a place where you can live a quieter, calmer life, knowing that you're finally true to yourself? In this program, we'll share the knowledge of how to get from here to there. In a word, Kabbalah. Kabbalah was handed down orally until it was finally written in a text known as the Zohar. In its simplest form, the Zohar is a commentary on the Torah, the Old Testament's 5 books of Moses, but it reveals much more than that.
There's a devil waiting outside your door. There's a devil waiting outside your door. And he's bucking and braying and pawing at the floor. And he's howling with pain, crawling up the wall. There's a devil waiting outside your door. And he's weak with evil and broken by the world. And he's shouting your name and asking for more. There's a devil waiting outside your door. I'm a man since the world began. Forever, amen, till the end of time. Now take off that dress. Ooh, I'm coming down. Yeah.
Now, here comes the source. Now you have to be very observant now. The true name of Satan, the Kabbalists say, is Yahweh, reversed. For Satan is not a black god, but a negation of God. For initiates, this is not a person, but a force. Do you have heard of movies that say, the force be with you? Okay. Please note, I'll read this again. To the Kabbalists, they say Yahweh reversed. Okay? So that's their God. They turn everything upside down. To the outside world, they say Yahweh. To the inner world, it means what? Satan. So they can preach in the name of Jesus Christ the most eloquent sermons, and you wouldn't know that they're preaching about Lucifer.
Jesus lived by the Torah, and Kabbalah illuminates the Torah for us. Illuminates the Torah for us. Illuminates the Torah for us. For us. For us.
You wouldn't know. Now, the name of Yahweh reversed. Now, I was in Israel the other day, and I was on the track of something very important, and I took many photographs, and a man came up to me, and he flashed something at me. Very strange. There was another evangelist right next to me, and he flashed something, and he says, look, Allah is your God upside down. And he walked away, and I thought he was nuts. I read this statement. I went to a Hebrew scholar, and I said, will you check this out for me? And he battled, and he battled, and he battled, and he battled. When the Mason learns that the key to the warrior on the block is the proper application of the dynamic dynamo of living power, he has learned the mastery of his craft. The seething energy of Lucifer are in his hands. Manly Palmer Hall, high Masonic form. The devil is now called darkness by the church, whereas in the Bible he's called the Son of God, Lucifer, son of the morning. One quote after the other. And here's the other quote, Blavatsky, Secret Doctrine. Jehovah, esoterically, is also the serpent or dragon. I'm not saying it. The highest source in occultism is saying it. That tempted Eve, and the dragon is an old glyph for astral light, which is wisdom in chaos. So, esoterists turn everything upside down. Here she writes in Secret Doctrine, the great serpent of the Garden of Eden and the Lord God are identical. They're Luciferians, you see. And so are Jehovah and Cain 1, the Cain who is referred to in theology as the murderer and the liar. So the God of the Bible is the murderer and the liar, and the serpent is exalted. That's secret esoteric teaching, only known to the adepts. Here another quote from Secret Doctrine. The appellation Satan in Hebrew, Satan, an adversary, to be adverse belongs by right to the first and cruelest adversary of all the other gods, Jehovah. Not to the serpent, who spoke only words of sympathy and wisdom. And it is the worst, even in the dogma, the adversary of man. See? So the bad guy is Jesus. The good guy is Satan. Therefore, Jehovah was called by the Gnostics the creator of and one with Ophiomorphos, the serpent, Satan. They turn it upside down. I'm not making this up. He's known as the supreme architect of the universe. This is all quotes. Who has promised that we shall never, never die. This is a Masonic source which blows them out of the water. What do they call their deity? The supreme architect of the universe. But he's the one who said you will never, never die. Which one said that? The serpent said it. So the poor Masons in the lower ranks don't know these things. Here's another one from Morals and Dogma, just to make sure that you see that I'm not making this up. The deity of the Old Testament is everywhere represented as the direct author of evil. I hereby promise to Lucifer, my soul, the secret teaching of all ages, Manly Palmer Hall. And who isn't allowed to know the truth about Masonry? Well, we must create a super right which remains unknown. Only some may know these things and others not. Now, when you become a Shriner, that means when you have reached the 32nd degree of Freemasonry, you qualify after 6 months to become a Shriner. Now, if you were a Christian, you swore allegiance on the Bible. But when you become a Shriner, you swear allegiance to Allah. With the Quran on the altar, we sealed our solemn oath in the name of Allah, the God of Arab, Muslim, Mohammedan, the God of our fathers. Wow, that's interesting. The Maslah, here is one of their faces. Now we understand something. The one is a front organization for a front organization, but the one who receives worship is Rome, not Islam. Islam is subservient to Rome without anyone knowing it. So let's repeat this one. The true name of Satan, the Kabbalists say, is Yahweh reversed. And here it is. There's the name of God, Yahweh, as it is in Hebrew. If you carefully reverse it, each one, and turn it upside down, in reverse writing you have that. Upside down you have that. You press it together, you have that. And that spells Allah in Arabic. Wow. That's fascinating stuff.
You You got to understand that the Masonic order is like an onion. It stinks. No, more to it than that. An onion has layer after layer after layer after layer. And the outer layers don't know what's going on in the inner layers. This is the way secret societies are designed. This is the way cults are designed. That's why the typical Mason doesn't have a clue about anything that I'm talking about tonight. And if you're a Mason sitting here tonight and you're saying, this guy is full of beans, let me tell you, I know whatever I speak. It's just that you have not been told any of these things because 99 out of 100 Masons are never allowed to know these things.
There is great satisfaction that comes from being part of a group that shares traditional values, that believes in the brotherhood of man, and in doing good works just for the satisfaction of doing them. That's what it means to be a Mason.
And so, and this is something very important that you need to understand. If you know someone who's a Mason, or if you yourself are a Mason, realize that when you kneel at the altar of Masonry as an entered apprentice, and you take that oath, you are adopted into the family of Lucifer at that moment. Now, you don't probably know that. I did, but most people don't even know that.
Amongst occult insiders, Lucifer is the true Son of God. Jesus is a second son who was defeated by the first one who had been thrown out. So Lucifer is the true luminary, the victor in the battle, and will be the one who will be worshipped at the end of time. That is occult doctrine. That's always been the doctrine of the Kabbalah, the Kabbalist doctrine, and it has been the doctrine of Gnosticism.
The Kabbalah is a collection of Jewish magical texts which were given to mankind via psychic communion with a fallen angel called Raziel. Raziel is one of a pantheon of so-called fallen angels who serve the light-bringer Lucifer. The Kabbalah describes the many angels and demons who inhabit the spiritual realm.
Because you can't get involved in Satanism on the hardcore level without first being a Freemason. And so I found someone, I was sponsored into the Masons, and I became a first, second, third degree Mason. The other thing I had to do, and this might astonish some of you, is I had to become a Catholic priest. I had to go back to my original vocation, because you cannot be a satanic priest unless, first of all, you're a Catholic priest. And if that surprises you, I just suggest that you go and you read some of the medieval literature. And I was made to drink the blood of what I now believe to be a fallen angel, and he in turn drank my blood. And by doing that, something happened to my blood, and I was actually physiologically transformed in many subtle ways. My blood type changed. It became impossible for me to eat. I couldn't eat anything. I couldn't drink anything except blood. The only solid food I consumed was the Catholic communion host. And I lived like this for over a year.
Codes are used to conceal multi-layered, complex information, which would later be studied by medieval alchemists. Sir Isaac Newton and many leading scientists studied the rich occult sciences within the Kabbalah. There was a time when mysticism, religion, alchemy, astronomy, and astrology were studied as one Kabbalistically based tradition. Jewish physicist Albert Einstein conveyed pages and pages of complex calculations in a simple 5-symbol code. E equals mc squared. Modern-day quantum physics, chaos theory, and the notion of parallel universes can all be traced back to the original texts of the ancient Kabbalah.
So as a scientist, I study Kabbalah. So as a scientist, I study Kabbalah. So as a scientist, I study Kabbalah. And so, for example, the creation story, according to Kabbalah, is almost verbatim the same as what our cosmologists today are talking about with the Big Bang and many, parallel universes and so forth. The Kabbalah is an intricate part of the Kabbalistic system.
Kabbalists believe that if they can successfully decode the Zohar, they will unlock the mysteries of both heaven and earth.
But the Zohar asks a very radical question. It says, who kicked whom out of the garden? And the Zohar actually teaches Adam expelled God from the garden. It's as if we're still in the garden. But we don't realize it because we've expelled God. We've lost touch with the spiritual dimension.
So as a scientist, I study Kabbalah.
We have to be very careful about how we interpret what we read, especially the Bible. And I'll tell you why. When I research these secret societies, and I research the Bible, and by the way, I'm a Christian, so if you're a Christian, don't think I'm knocking your religion. I'm not. I'm just telling you what I found. I have found that at the very heart and core of all these secret societies lurks the Kabbalah. The Kabbalah is the ancient Jewish mysticism. It is a method of encoding information through a system of mathematics and numbers. It is some of the most ancient knowledge that man has ever possessed and has been kept secret and given only to those who have proven themselves worthy through the process of initiation. Nobody knows where it comes from. I can tell you this, it was there long before the Jews came along. The Jews just took it and preserved it, and they passed it down, and it's used by everybody. Because it's at the heart and core of the secret knowledge, the metaphysics, the real science that none of us know anything about. These people that belong to the secret societies never dared to write down in any language what they knew, what it was that they were guarding, because then someone could steal it and then the secret would be out. So they devised secret systems of encoding the secrets of the ages, the knowledge, the hidden knowledge, the occult. Now, occult doesn't mean evil. It doesn't mean the devil. It doesn't mean Satan. Occult means hidden. It means hidden. That's all it means. So they took this knowledge and they made it occult through a system of encoding, encryption, one of which is mathematics, numbers. Another is architecture. Everybody wonder, why do they have a fraternal organization called the Freemasons? Aren't those the guys that build walls? You bet they do. But every wall they build contains the secrets that have been kept and maintained throughout the ages, and it's encoded in the architecture and in the measurements of the buildings and in the mathematical formulas used to derive the geometry, the shape, the length and breadth and height of rooms. It's all encoded there. The origin, the history, the dogma, and the identity of the ancient mystery religions which are now known as the mystery schools, the Order of the Quest, Freemasonry, the ancient Order of the Rose and Cross, the Knights Templar, the Sovereign and Military Order of the Knights of Malta, the Order of St. John of Jerusalem, the Priory de Sion, the Thule Society, or sometimes known as the Thule Society, the Order, the Skull and Bones, the Russell Trust, the Jason Society, the Scroll and Key, the Illuminati, and I could go on and on and on and on. But the most important thing to realize is that they all have been collectively known throughout the ages as the mystery schools, the Illuminati, which literally means illumined ones. They are all one and the same, as you will come to know. And you will understand perfectly how they've been able to infiltrate all of our society.
And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy.
So it's not hidden at all. It's there for anybody who wants to look.